Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another daily chat. I'm Z Garcia. I am joined today by Monsieur Pete Shirey. How you doing, Pete?
I am good, Z. Thanks for having me on. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for being on, man. It's nice to chat with you, just to hang out and have a little talk. Uh,
Absolutely.
People are asking already, is it Shark Week already?
Close. No, it's not Shark Week yet, but it will be coming soon enough. But there was a little bit of shark excitement this week, so
Does everybody just know that you're like the shark guy? That must be a thing.
I'm
Right?
wearing a shark jersey. I made a custom Jaws jersey. It's kind of my thing, right? Everyone has a thing. Everyone's super passionate about something. For whatever reason, sharks is just the thing I'm most passionate about. So,
I need a thing. I don't have a thing, man. I need a thing. I need an animal. I need something I'll be like the ferret guy. No.
What's the one animal that if you see it on TV you can't change the channel? Like for me when they did those little National Geographics and I saw the blue sharks and Jacques Cousteau, I was riveted, man. I was stuck. There's got to be an animal that just you got to watch it.
I don't know. I'll come up with something.
I'll share sharks with you if you want.
Gosh, I don't want to deprive you of any amount of sharkery. You get 100% of the sharkening.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Somebody's asking, would you swim with great whites, Pete?
Yes, that is a life goal of mine. When I am able to afford it, because it ain't cheap. I would cage dive, not free swim. I'm not that crazy. Some people do that, not me. I like my limbs, but I would definitely cage dive. Probably California cage dive. It's a little bit more tame than the Australia and a lot cheaper. So yes, I would definitely do it, but I have not yet.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that would be that. Like you said, that's like one of those bucket list type things, man.
Absolutely, and if it was cheap, if it was $500 or something, I'd already done it. But it's seriously $3-4 grand because of the liability and all that. It's not cheap to do, but I tell you what, it would be an experience to see one of those creatures up close.
Wow, yeah, that's wild. Huh. Yeah. When is Shark Week? That's coming up soon.
Yeah, normally it's usually it's during Gen Con. Sadly, this year won't be as big an issue for me, but last year it was the week of Gen Con, so it's end of July, early August. Okay. This year I don't know. I haven't checked the exact dates. I do know it's coming soon, but with the change in all the schedules and stuff, I don't know what exact week it is, but it is in the next month or so.
Better be some sharks wearing masks. That's all I'm saying.
I almost wonder. Yes, I do wonder. That would be a big mask.
Somebody is asking, I guess you mentioned this publicly, so somebody knew about your Maneater. They're asking, how's Maneater going? We were just talking about this, but tell the people.
Maneater is great. So if you don't have a propensity to be offended by a little bit of gore and a little bit of over-the-top wackiness, this game is like taking Grand Theft Auto and mixing it with Jaws, and that's what you got. Just a shark running around the city, doing shark stuff, having missions, objectives. There is a story. The game is short, but it's like a $29 or $35 game, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on which platform you buy it on.
Okay.
It's about 15 hours, the story elements, and then open world discovery that you can spend hours in, like me. But it's a good, fun, wacky shark game. I'd give it a solid 8.5 out of 10 if I was trying to be brutally honest and rate it. But yeah, they're definitely already talking about adding content, so I think the value will be there. But if you're into sharks or you like just funny, over-the-top, wacky stuff, definitely give it a shot. And there's 100 YouTube videos on gameplay. You can research and check it out. But it's fun. It's like Echo the Dolphin meets Grand Theft Auto meets Jaws Unleashed. That's what this game is like. So
Echo the Dolphin. That's fun, a throwback, dude. Echo the Dolphin.
It is a throwback. Well, I'm old enough for that throwback, but the controls
awesome.
Are very similar. Controls are very similar, so you'll like it.
Awesome. Echo the Dolphin. Wow, that's a blast from the past, man. I like it.
Had to pull deep for that one.
All right, let's see. What do we got? All right, let's talk. Somebody's asking, what's that poster behind you? What is that poster?
Oh, okay. That one is Blade and Black Panther. So my basement is 4 rooms. It's a pretty big basement, actually. I got very fortunate with the house we bought. And each room I got themed differently. So room off to my left that you can't see back here is a Star Wars themed room. That's where I keep half my board game collection and my paint station. the big room where my game table is all Jaws themed. The biggest room, the biggest collectible stuff.
Okay.
And then my back area where I have a TV and my video game consoles is all like kind of just a mishmash of like my Buccaneers sports memorabilia stuff and little tidbits of collectibles that wouldn't fit here. But my office where I'm at now is like a 10 by 10 little room, and it's all superheroes. So that's Black Panther and Blade. I got a Black Panther movie poster, this low one. These little pictures here is Silver Surfer and Spider-Man. And if you could see behind me, I've got just all types of collectibles, like the gauntlets that glow and a Thor hammer, a Cap shield, a bunch of little miniatures and figures, and a bunch of like collectible statues and stuff. This whole room is just superhero geeked out, basically.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen the shark pictures back when you were putting the room together. I remember you were sharing images for that, and I was following you online like, oh man, okay, he's gonna get that shark hung up and all that stuff.
I bet you it's due for an update now, man. So much has changed in that last like 3 years now it's been since I've lived here, so I may have to do a man cave update video or something. So
nice. All right, let's see. Somebody says, Black Panther, I thought it was Cthulhu. Yeah, it looks there's some tentacle-y looking stuff, but no, I see it. If you look close enough, you can see it.
Yeah, it's Blade and the swords, and there's like a little lightning strike, which made it look like, and they're like coming down from jumping off top of buildings. So, yeah, definitely, the lighting's not the best in here, unfortunately, for video. I leave that stuff to the professionals like you guys. I just keep it light right where I need it to be.
So what have you been painting lately, Pete? What's been going on with that?
Well, I'm all done painting my Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'm waiting for these next batch of expansions that are coming out the first week and second week of June. I've got on my table now, I've got some Warcry. My boss picked me up an expansion for Warcry because he's been into it. So for my birthday, he sent me an expansion of Warcry. So I've got that primed and ready to go. Couple buildings for Crisis Protocol. And me and my daughter have the last two of the My Little Pony WizKids pre-primed, ready to paint figures. Okay. We're going to do those this week. We've been painting one or two of those every couple of weeks, so we're down to the last two. I think we're going to knock those out this week. So that's kind of what's on the table right now. I'm just waiting for the next wave of Protocol figures, and I'll have like another 6 or 7 of those guys coming out soon to get ready and paint. So
nice.
I keep my hobbies varied. I got a lot of painting done over the last few months, though.
Are you letting her be pretty much hands off, or how are you handling that?
With my daughter?
Yeah, with the painting. Are you pretty much letting her do whatever she wants?
What I told her is I said, I'll let you paint, so you do your thing, and then I'll paint mine. And then when I get done, I paint faster than her. She's very new at it. She's only 9 years old.
Sure.
So she'll paint, and I'll paint, and then I'll get done, and then I'll put mine aside, and then I'll help her with hers. And then when we get done, we look at it, and she's like, oh, I made a mistake here, and I'll help her correct it. By the time it's done, I've probably repainted half of it, but I let her do her thing because that's the only way she's going to get better, and I want her to feel like it's ownership, like she painted it. But then if she sees stuff she doesn't like, she has me help her fix it. So, we spend about 30 minutes on mine and like an hour on hers, but by the end of it, when you set them next to each other, they both look pretty good.
Nice. That's probably what painting with me is like, man.
Well, you do have to stay between the lines, Z.
I know. I don't like that. I have this app on my iPad that's like one of those coloring apps. It's just to mess with like the Apple Pencil, lets you colors cool. But you can turn on a mode. You can turn on a setting where the app stays within the lines for you.
Oh my God! Come on, really?
If you press the pencil inside an outline that's black outline, you can go past it, but it stops coloring. So you can just go around, you can just go over the whole area, and it'll paint it in perfectly, but it won't spill out.
That's easy mode. Come on, what fun is that?
That's easy mode.
Okay.
That's right. That's what I want. Is easy mode. None of this craziness. Dark Souls, Blood-Borne. I tried that. I tried one of those games again recently, man. Somebody gave me, which was very nice. Somebody gave me a copy of Blood-Borne at a convention. This was a while ago, obviously. One of our Dice Tower conventions. Months and months ago, of course. I finally cracked it open. I'm like, all right, I'll try again. I played Dark Souls 1 or 2, I forget. Impossible. I mean, just like punishment. So I'm like, all right, I'll try. Man, these games are so mean.
I'm telling you,
what it is.
There was a new game that came out recently. Well, not recent. Recent for me, called Sakura. It's a Japanese theme where you're a samurai, and it's basically
Shadows
like
Die Twice. That one.
Yes,
yeah.
That game has got the difficulty level of Blood-Borne, but I'm such a sucker for like Japanese or Asian theme and Shogun, so I bought it. My friend prefaced me. My buddy Scott. He's like, look. He said, I beat this game. He said, but I've beaten Dark Souls and I've beaten Blood-Borne. He said, these games are tough. He said, this isn't the kind of game I think you're going to enjoy. And I'm like, no, I'm going to give it a try. I literally played the first level, the first major boss fight, got my butt handed to me a dozen times, and I haven't played it since. So it sucks. It's such a good game. It's beautiful. The controls are great. I'm not fast as I used to be, man. When I was 20, I could have probably played that game, but right now, it frustrates me more than anything else.
When you were 20, we had no better choices in games, though. At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? They made these games tough back in the day because the game was really only like 30 minutes long. You only played it for 6 hours because you kept doing the same bit over and over because it would beat you. But in this day and age, the content in that game is probably 30 hours.
I mean, I've beaten Ninja Gaiden. I've beaten Ghouls and Ghosts. I've beaten some tough games, but like today, those games kill me. They eat me alive, and I don't know where I lost my reflexes or my patience. I don't know. Maybe from having a couple kids, that'll do it to you. So, back in the day, man, I was all right. Now, not so much.
I don't know. Those games are just super punishing. I can't get into it, man. I think the aesthetic is awesome. I played Blood-Borne. Looks great. Spooky. Crazy world, all the stuff, but man, you lose and they set you back like 30 minutes. I'm like, no, I can go play anything else.
See the story, man. I want to see the story. The stories are so compelling. It's like I almost kind of wish, like I just made fun of you earlier for easy mode. I wish there was a mode where you could just watch the story and then play the game at your leisure. And
I know.
But no, it's not.
I don't get it. If people pay for the game, why not let some people just blast through it? I don't know.
Yeah, a little easier mode would be appreciated. Just a little.
Totally easy. I want child mode. Single button presses, it does everything. I need to jump right now. A. Kill a guy. A. Sleep. A. Anything. That's what I want.
I like it. All
right, somebody wants to know, Pete, with changing topics here, your opinion on The Last Jedi, man.
This must be one of the boomers. Is that Kabuki asking that?
Yeah.
She loves for me to troll. So there's a running gag. I'm on a live stream every Wednesday night that Lance Mikester holds called the Weekly Alaboom. It's just basically like what we're doing here, except he has like up to 6 people jump in on it. And he had a very negative experience with Last Jedi, so every chance I got to kind of troll him on it, I would throw a jab out there. So my take on The Last Jedi is exactly this. I did not hate it. I did not love it. In the grand scheme of things, I'd give it a C+, maybe a C. There was some stuff out of there, but I really feel like if I, in my poor editing skills, could edit out about 35 minutes of that movie, it would be a good movie. But there's just 35 minutes of stuff that just didn't need to be there that just took me out of it. So, but I do not, without a doubt, do not hate the movie nearly as much as one Lance Mixter does. He loathes that movie to like at the highest level. Like as much as I love Jaws, he hates Last Jedi. So yeah, it's become a thing. But I enjoy teasing him about it every chance I get because Rada will pop on the show, and Rada loves Last Jedi. And all I have to do is throw out one comment, and it gets those two going, and then I just sit back and grab my popcorn and just enjoy the show.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it, man. I think I liked it more than you. The new one, I thought. What was the latest one called?
The last the final one. The one. Oh my God, what's the name of it?
Revenge of somebody. I don't know.
No, Kabuki will help us here in a second. She always does. Why can
the last one I thought was worse, but the middle one,
the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's it. Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, I liked Last Jedi better than this new one.
Yeah, I probably liked this new one a little bit better. Where I gave Last Jedi a C, I'd probably give this one like a C plus B minus somewhere in there. I mean, the days of Empire Strikes Back are just long gone. This franchise is just taking a different direction, and you know
For
what?
sure.
It's okay because this Star Wars is not our Star Wars. This Star Wars is our kids and our nephews and nieces. That's their Star Wars. Our Star Wars was in the 80s. Their Star Wars is now. It's just a different crowd. They have to pander to that audience and make it fun for them, or else, I mean, that's what keeps it alive is they reinvent themselves every 20 years or so. So I understand it. May not like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It's just weird. The crowd wants. Well, the crowds, I should say. There's these sort of subgroups who are like, give me my Star Wars. What they really mean is, I think, give me the same stuff that I liked before. Just give it to me again in high def. But then, like, some movies will do that, and they're like, it's nothing new, And then some movies try to do something new, and they're like, this isn't Star Wars.
You can't win. The
That
crowd's
must be
too
a
different
tough
these days.
job.
I think Mandalorian's done a good job of bridging the gap because it seems like overall most people like it. So whatever formula they got cooking there, they need to keep that one going because I think the old and new Star Wars fans like Mandalorian well enough. There's not that lopsided hate love. It's kind of even keel with that one. So I hope they do more of that. Clone Wars seems to be popular amongst all Star Wars fans. That there's a few things that are still catering to both audiences, but you can see a divide definitely in the Star Wars fandom.
What would you want them to do if they were gonna, let's say, in a couple of years they go rock and roll again and make another trilogy? What would you want them to do?
Knowing what we know now with the movies that are currently out there.
Yeah, right. Like now, if they were,
Because originally, before this last trilogy, I wanted the Timothy Zahn books to be the next Star Wars trilogy. The Thrawn saga, the Heir to the Empire, Last Jedi Standing. That trilogy of books was amazing, and I thought it would make a great post Return of the Jedi trilogy. That's kind of shot now with what the new movies have done. So now, if I had to see a new trilogy come out, I think I kind of would want them to do something in a different era. Whether it's in the future or back far enough before the events of the whole Skywalker saga.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't mind like Knights of the Old Republic style, like the video game series. Back then, Darth Revan, Malak, that would be a really interesting characters. None of the events of that directly tie to the whole Skywalker saga, so there's distant enough that they could take some liberties without people getting super crazy, but yet still have some characters that would draw people, like to see Darth Malak or Darth Revan, firing up a lightsaber. People that have played the video game or read some of the books would be super jazzed for that. So I think that's probably the direction I would go if it was up to me. But I mean, I think from what I've heard from the room millings that they're going is that they're staying in the future timeline and just new story completely. So who knows what'll happen? A lot's going to change, obviously. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But
they need to sever a lot of this stuff. I agree with you. I think they just got to go for a real fresh coat of paint.
Yep, no more 3PO and R2.
It's enough of like, so-and-so is so-and-so's son or daughter, and then so-and-so is betraying them. It's just like the cadence has become so predictable, of like who's related to who.
It's almost like a bad soap opera.
Yeah,
It's become a bad soap opera. I think at this point, it's better for them anyway. If they have all new characters and all new droids, that's all new merchandise to sell. So, do yourselves a favor and give us something fresh, and that gives you more toys to sell, which is inevitably the end game for them anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree. They gotta just clean slate it, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I would be down for that.
Let's see here. Hello, everybody in the chat showing up. Kabuki Kid says, yeah, Mandalorian seems to strike a great balance. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I totally agree.
What have we got?
And then the last Star Wars video game did really well, too. I think that was a pretty big hit overall for most fans, new and old. Was it the Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order? That seemed to do pretty well.
I don't remember that.
You not remember it?
No, let me look.
It came out it's like maybe 4 months old, or maybe it came out right before Christmas, or maybe right after Christmas. It's within this last 6 months. I know I've got it. I've played through like half of it. I haven't finished it yet, but that's just my son.
Oh yeah.
Jedi right. Fallen Order, yeah.
This kind of continues the ones they did with the super powered kid. I mean, the kid with the Force, right?
Yeah, the Force Unleashed. I think
Yeah,
something
yeah,
similar
yeah.
to that.
This is
Yeah,
similar to
it's
that,
kind of
right?
like the modern take of that game. Yeah, absolutely. Young kid has Force powers. Has a deep lineage to follow and has to learn his powers from scratch and all that jazz. Yeah,
So it's a good
but it
one.
seemed to do really well. Yeah, ratings were pretty good. I enjoyed the couple hours I've played. Matter of fact, I need to bug my son and get it back so I can finish it. He's had it for like the last 2 months. So, but yeah, it's a good. What I played of it was solid, like B plus solid gameplay.
I think my favorite Star Wars game I've ever played was an old squad-based first-person shooter in which you had a little group of clones, and you what's it called? This was like back on like the N64, I think. Maybe
Oh
first
wow.
Xbox, maybe the original Xbox,
Okay.
and it was
Dark Force Rising.
no, that doesn't sound right.
Maybe that's PC actually. The Dark Force Rising, you were like a squad of death troopers or something. There was a bunch of. I mean, Steam had a huge Star Wars sale on May the 4th, and there's like literally hundreds of Star Wars games out there. But
Yeah,
the console ones are. I'll have to look it up when I get my arcade up and running again. I sent in my hard drive for an update. I've actually got all the N64 catalog on my machine, so I'll have to dig it up and see what it is.
yeah.
I used to love the old Star Wars games.
Here we go. This is it. I found it. It's called Star Wars Republic Commando.
Republic Commando. Okay, cool. That was the preface before Battlefront became a thing. I think that was the original like shooter, and then
Yeah.
a few years later they made Star Wars Battlefront 1, and then they kind of they ditched the Republic Commando games and focused on the Battlefronts because they did a little better.
Yeah, right.
Those are good Star Wars games.
Yeah, I
Those
played
Star
the
Wars
first
games,
one.
like,
I guess there's a whole series, but I played the first one, and it was solid. It was really it was good stuff. That was one of my favorites. It was first person shooter, but in that setting, and it really worked out well.
If you like, do you like real time strategy games, kind of like Civilization style games and stuff like that?
That's such a PC genre, and I don't really play on a
It
PC
is.
anymore.
Okay.
I used to
'Cause
dig
the
it. I
Star
used to
Wars
play like I
Empire
played a
War.
ton of Tiberian Sun, Command and Conquer, Tiberian Sun, and
Yeah.
stuff. But
So Star Wars Empire War is an older game, but it's been reinvented on Steam. It's reinvigorated, and it's a Star Wars Command and Conquer style game where you planetary conquest and you have land and space battles. It's a really good game. It was like $6 on the Steam sale, but it's a PC game with PC controls. So if you're more a console guy, it probably wouldn't spark joy with you like it does me. But for an old game as cheap as it was a really solid Star Wars game. And an online multiplayer too. You can fight against the rebels, the Imperials, or there was a third faction like the bounty hunters. So it was pretty cool. The Syndicate. Good stuff.
all right, let's see. What do we got here? Any questions? Does anybody want to ask anything, or are we just talking about whatever we want? Which I'm perfectly happy to do.
I have not played Oceanos. Carol Lou asked if I played Oceanos. I have not yet.
That's good stuff.
I do have Aquatica. That's the next one. As soon as I can get people to play with, Aquatica is what I want to play.
That's really
There's a
good.
shark card in there. And I got Forgotten Waters, and I did get to play it once, but that's it. So Forgotten Waters, apparently they haven't been spoiled yet, but someone told me that there is a page in that book that I'm going to go nuts for. So it must be some shark encounter or something like that the pirates must face. So I'm looking forward to playing through Forgotten Waters once I'm able to get my game group back together. So Forgotten Waters and Aquatica are the two next big sharky kind of games I'm looking forward to. And then the Funko Jaws expansion comes out sometime this month.
Yes.
So that's another one. So I got some cool shark board game goodness coming up. I just have to wait for things to lighten up where I can play again.
I saw the shark for Funkoverse.
I forgot. Oh yeah, it looks
Funkoverse
cool.
one. It's awesome. You can
Well,
put
the
he
last shows
looks
I
like
was
he's
at.
coming out of the ground, and then you can put whatever weapon you want or anything in his mouth. He can hold it in his mouth.
I saw it too. I
It's really
saw it
awesome.
at Toy Fair. It was one of the last shows I went to before things kind of tightened down, and they had a prototype copy of it there, and I got to see the shark up close. It did look cool. When I'm not playing, it'll be on a shelf somewhere, and then when I play, I'll just grab it. It looks really cool. Super excited about that.
All right, let's see. One Pip Wonder here is asking, do you have family to play with in quarantine, or are you playing mostly online? What are you doing?
I have dived into my PC roots again. Like before I got into board gaming. Well, I take that back. I started out playing board games as a kid, the traditional stuff, the mass market stuff.
Right.
Then got into console and video game and PC gaming in my teens and early youth. I played a lot of Nintendo, Atari, and then PC gaming as I got into teen and adult, and then got back heavy into board gaming again later in life. So I've really dug into my PC time now. I play with a bunch of guys online. I got a group on Xbox. I got a group on PC, and we're playing just about anything we can get our hands on. Board gaming wise, now I've only played 2 board games over the last few months, and things are starting to get more normalized here in South Carolina. I mean, they've opened up a lot. And the local game stores are open up for sale, but not for play. I imagine as things get better in our area, we'll get together maybe bi-weekly, once every couple weeks. Maybe small group, me and 1 or 2 other people. As long as we're being smart, we'll probably start to play stuff again. But it won't be anything like before until well after probably this next winter season. So I'm hoping to get Forgotten Waters to the table. We got a King's Dilemma we're in the middle of. I want to play. I haven't finished that yet. I want to get Aquatica to the table. So I imagine I'll get the game a couple times a month over the summer. But if things start to get bad again in the fall, then we'll have to revisit and see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a little gaming in here soon, hopefully.
Yeah, Aquatica is one that is on my to-get list. It's one that I didn't grab the first time it was out, but I think it's coming back out from somebody. So once that happens, I'll jump on it then.
It is, and I don't know who. I've heard mentioned a couple different companies, so I guess it's under negotiation. Thankfully, after Rado did his video, he asked me if I had it, and I said no, I would love to, but I didn't go to Essen. So he sent me his copy because he was done with it, and it wasn't one he was going to keep. So I got it. It's a second hand, but it's in pretty good shape. So that's the only way I would have gotten it. I don't know when it's supposed to hit, and who knows how far it'll be delayed now with everything else that's happened. But it was supposed to come out in the fall or in the spring, but I haven't heard anything on it yet. So yeah, I don't know.
All right, Kabuki Kid has an interesting question here. Let's see. Let's throw this up.
She always does.
Do you have any Grail games still at this point?
Ooh, let's see. I got my Queen's Gambit fully painted. That was one of my Grail games, and that one's off the list. Wow. That's one of my pride. That's my pride and joy. It's not the most expensive game I own, but it's the one that means the most to me. Grail games. I have War of the Ring. And I have it fully painted, but I don't have the War of the Ring Collector's Edition in the big tome. Yeah. That would be a Grail game, but the prices on that are just way too high. I missed my window when it came out, when they reprinted it, too. I missed that window as well. Mm-hmm. No, I honestly... Oh, yes, I do. Actually, and funny enough, it shares a name with the video game I just played this week. There is a 1970s board game called Maneater, which was right after the Jaws movie came out in 75. This game came out in 77, 78. And it's basically a homage to Jaws. So it's an older game. It's hard to find in good condition. That is the last of my Grail games. But I haven't looked for it in so long that I forgot about it because you just can't find a copy. I know of 3 copies in existence, and the people that have them won't part with it. But if I could find a copy of the old Maneater game from the 70s, I would totally buy it. That would be the one that slipped away. And the game may not even be that good. I heard it's decent, but it's very dated. But yeah, paper map, and you got your shark chits, and you're moving it around on the board. I would still. That's one I would buy. That's probably the only Grail game I have left. I've pretty much gotten the rest of them.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, for me, I think right now I'm in a lull when it comes to Grail games. The last couple of things I wanted were hard to get in the U.S. They were just difficult to find, so. Friends from France were able to hook me up for a couple of little games and, stuff like that.
I got the same thing. I got a couple games from Europe from friends, like the Dark Force Rising, the Star Wars Thanos Rising. Yeah. I got a copy of that, which isn't available in the U.S.
Right.
There's probably stuff I don't even know about that I would want that I just don't know about because it's not available here. The licensing deals make some of the licensed products not available, also. It makes it a little harder, but... Yeah, I bet you if I took a trip to Europe, I'd probably come home with a lot of stuff that I didn't plan on.
Have you been to Essen?
No, I have not.
You've never been
to
Essen?
I'm U.S. marketing and sales, so I have no reason to go. We have a whole team in Europe and in Singapore that goes to Essen, so they really don't have a need for me to go to that show.
I don't know why I assumed you had been there. I thought you had been, but yeah, okay.
No, not me. I wouldn't be opposed to going, but there really would be no productive reason for me to go because all of my clientele are here in the North America. US and Canada is the only areas I service for sales, and then the marketing, we have a marketing team that handles European marketing, so I don't do any of that either. So it would be a very expensive trip to send me out there for not as much benefit. So I don't know that I'll ever get to go unless I go on my own.
Yeah. Well, somebody's asking a question here. I'll probably answer, seeing as to how you work for the company. But
Sure.
somebody's asking. I just picked up Narcos. Heard it compared to Fury of Dracula. Any opinions on it? And so I'll tell them my opinions on it.
Yeah,
Of course,
go
you
for it.
can too, Pete, if you want. But I like it. I did a review on it, and it's kind of it's got that similar vibe of one player being in hiding, doing stuff on the board in hiding, but it's much shorter and faster than Fury of Dracula, and you're playing multiple characters. You have sort of factions you can play. So it's neat. Yeah, I liked it. It's great look. Also, it's got that same artwork as the Godfather game that these guys put out. Same artist.
Yeah.
So I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. It was cool. Check out my review for it.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think that if the theme isn't a particular grabbing point for you, you could enjoy Narcos as a shortened version. But if the theme really, like, if you're really into the Dracula mythos, even though the game is probably twice as long, maybe even 3 times as long, depending on the group. Yeah. But they're both very comparable. They'll give you that same kind of feeling. But, I think they're both fine games, and I think they both don't really step on each other's toes either. It's kind of one of those weird situations.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Yeah, if you like the Narcos theme especially, you don't need to ask. You should get it.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Kabuki Kid is asking, what is your favorite game from your own company?
Whew, not out yet. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Marvel United coming out. As a big Marvel fanboy, Marvel's probably the next tier when it comes to my fandom. It's Jaws, it's Marvel, and then Star Wars probably dips in right after that. I am really excited for Marvel United. Now, currently, of games that have been released, my favorite CMON game, let's see. It's pretty close. I'd say it's between Blood Rage and Black Plague. They're both really high up on like my list of our games. Although I will say a dark horse in the running, which I don't know why it didn't do as well as it should have, but I love Godfather too. Godfather is one of the best games we've put out in the last 10 years. I don't know if the theme just didn't resonate with the audience today, but it didn't do as well as like the zombie line would do, of course. But I really love Godfather as well. I think it's a very underrated game. But right now the mainstays for me, like if we're gonna play a game from my company, it's probably Blood Rage or Black Plague. And then after that, it'll definitely be Marvel United over next year. I'll be playing that a lot.
Yeah, me too. I got that. I backed it, went all in. I can't wait. I usually don't back a whole lot of Kickstarters because I am not like some people are able to like click that button and then forget about it till it shows up. Right? I can't do that. I am then like hanging on every update, I'm hanging on everything they release. Like they just sent out that email with the new artwork, so I'm there, looking at the new art. I can't, man.
I get spoiled. I get to see stuff a little earlier than you guys do, but I'm with you though. It was hard in the beginning. Now, I mean, I've been on Kickstarter so long now, it's just like that looks good. The price seems decent. It looks like a good value. Then I check, does it have enough exclusives to not just wait for retail? If the answer is yes, I click, boom, and forget about it. It's easier to forget about it. I forget about it until the pledge manager needs to be done. As soon as that pledge manager is locked down, I don't want to think about it until I start seeing manufacturing is done, we're shipping in 3 or 4 weeks, and you'll have your game in like 2 months. That's when I start getting hyped because it's too long. Right now, I'm currently waiting for the Streetfighters miniature game. You remember that one from 2 years ago? It was it's like the Angry Joe did it. It's a big pre-painted, gorgeous Street Fighter miniatures. I am so excited for this game because the miniatures look amazing. One of my buddies loves Street Fighter, so I know I got someone to play with. and then they got delayed in licensing approvals and stuff, and then Chinese New Year, then coronavirus. So it was supposed to be here like last year, and now it's not going to be here till like end of the year. And getting rehyped for that, just to find out it's getting pushed back, drove me nuts to the point where I was like on the page every day looking for new information. It's so much easier to just click and forget. It really is.
Oh, I would love to do that. I'm not able to. But again, I don't back that many things. So I don't have to go through it a lot. Maybe if I did back a lot of things, it would be easier. That's the thing, right? Because then while one thing's showing up, I'm backing another one and forgetting about it.
You're constantly, every month you're getting a new game from Kickstarter. It makes you forget about the ones you're waiting for. Absolutely
I'm
agree with
not
that.
like that. But that Marvel United, I was all over. It looks great. I was following along with the unlocks. Huh?
You don't have to wait too long. August is only a couple months away. You'll be getting the base game. So
yeah. I'm all over that. Let's see. Yeah, for me, the question was favorite game from the company you work for, and for me, it's still The Others. That's still my favorite. Yeah,
you
I
really
pulled it out the other day.
More than anyone.
I know.
You gravitated to that game like no one else.
I don't know what it is, man. It's just it's such a good design. It's elegant, like it's a big dice chucking kind of game, but underneath that, it's elegant, man. I just replayed it the other day, 2-player, and had a great time. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, let's see. What do we got going on? The Godfather one, I've got that one too. Yeah, that's good. All right. TV shows. What TV shows have you watched recently that are worth recommending? Anything, Pete?
TV. Oh boy, that's the one area I'm the weakest at because I don't watch a lot of television. I watch a little bit of streaming services like Disney Plus, Netflix. I just got done watching the Jordan 10-episode Jordan Last Dance thing on ESPN. I know that's not like regular TV.
I haven't heard of that one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a huge basketball fan, and I'm not even really a big Bulls fan. But it was interesting just seeing all these video clips from my childhood because when they were having their big run, I was growing up. So I remember a lot of it, even though I wasn't a big fan of theirs. But as far as regular TV, I mean, I watch a lot of like Adult Swim at night when I go to bed. Like I'll watch Rick and Morty and Bob's Burgers and that kind of stuff. So I don't really watch a lot of new TV. My wife is more the TV person. And a lot of stuff's reruns now anyway because they're run out of content. So yeah, no, I don't have a whole lot of exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to Mandalorian 2 on Disney Plus. I'm looking forward to another series of the Jeff Goldblum. That series was funny.
Was that good? I never saw it. Was that good?
I liked it. I was all in, but a lot of people said he was a little too quirky, but I thought it was great. So I'm all in on that. But yeah, no, I'm the wrong person to ask for TV. You'd be better to answer that than I would.
I've been watching. I've been trying to catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Netflix, man. That's what I've been doing.
We watched the first 5 seasons.
Yeah, so I'm slightly behind you then because I got as far as I was like a few episodes into the Ghost Rider stuff, which was great.
Okay.
So now I'm in that season. I think that's 4, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's season 4. So I'm picking it up, gonna finish that out, and then there's plenty more episodes after that. So yeah, I'm going through those. I'm having a good time with it. That show started off a little slow, but once it found its footing, I've enjoyed it.
When the new Marvel stuff comes out on Disney Plus, I'll be all in on all of that.
Well,
WandaVision and the Loki and I'm all in. I mean, I'm a huge Marvel fanboy anyway. So, but the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we liked it up until like the last season and a half. It kind of lost what we enjoyed about it. But I'll leave that for you to discover. I don't want to spoil anything. But we were in it. The first 5 seasons, we were all in. And then after that, after the Ghost Rider stuff, it kind of took a different turn. And it wasn't as enjoyable for us after that. But you may be different. Your mileage may vary.
All right. I guess I'll see. Yeah. I'm so far so good. But, who knows?
I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I've been having a good time with it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know when those seasons are supposed to show up on Disney Plus, like all the new stuff.
I don't know either.
Maybe it got
I'm
pushed.
not quite sure. It could be, although I wouldn't think the older stuff would be that delayed. I don't know what their timing is on it, but it's possible they already had contracts with other people for reruns and stuff before they and have to wait for that to expire to put it on theirs. But I'm not sure. But I imagine the whole lineup will be on there at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah, for me, I had Disney Plus, watched The Mandalorian, kept it around for a couple of months after that, but just wasn't using it, Don't have kids, so that wasn't the draw, right? And I saw a few things on there.
I got it for a good deal.
I ended up cutting it till I get something on there again that I'm into, They were taking too long to get me the new Marvel stuff, all that stuff, so I'll wait.
They were doing a special when I signed up for it. If you were a Disney Rewards member, you could pre-order 3 years of Disney Plus for $4 a month. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I paid like $150. I've got it paid for 3 years. So I'm in it to win it for 3 years, and then after that, I'll evaluate it. But by then, all the stuff will be out. So
yeah, that's a great deal.
Yeah, it is a real good deal.
Yeah, they had the Apple TV Plus one, which is not, I think, gaining a lot of traction, but that one they gave everybody free for a year if you had recently purchased anything Apple related. So
like an iPad or an iPhone or something.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's too many of them. I get it, but I really would just much rather just have one streaming service to rule them all. I mean, honestly, at this point, if there was one streaming service that combined all the streaming services for like $40 a month, I'd rather just do that and drop cable than to, have like 8 different streaming services. It's getting crazy. DC's got their own. Disney Plus now covers all the Marvel, Disney, Star Wars stuff. ABC, you got Netflix still. I mean, there's just so many of them. Hulu. You can't keep up with it, and it's too. I have friends that just hop from month to month. They just hop and binge everything, and then catch up, and they rotate around. So every month of the year, they got a different streaming service, and they watch all their stuff, and then they cancel it, and then by the time it comes around next year, they got a whole nother wave of stuff to watch.
Wow.
I guess if you don't mind canceling and subscribing every month, I guess that's the way to do it. But
at least they make it easier than it used to be. I remember back when you had to sign up for anything. Signing up was really easy. Dropping anything meant you were picking up the phone. You were getting bounced around, right? At least now, you can go online and boop, drop it. I mean, that's. I remember the first time. It's been a while, but I remember when I dropped getting Netflix physical discs. Right. Mm-hmm. This was years ago. But I had it.
That's a while ago.
Yeah, I had it, and I decided to drop it, right, to cancel it. So I was mentally preparing myself to have to deal with that. So I went on the website, found out where it was, and sure enough, there wasn't a 1-800 number there. There was a button. So I was like, all right. So I pressed it. Are you sure? Yeah. Done. I'm like, say what? These guys actually make it. Ever since that day, I'm telling you, I've been a Netflix, fan for life, because that's the way to do it, to make it easy for your customers. I'm much more willing to jump back into.
Tiger King? Did you get into the whole Tiger King thing?
Not yet. Mike DeLisio, I don't know if you know Mike DeLisio, but
I know of him.
He's been talking Tiger King nonstop. When that thing was coming out, we were still at the office when Tiger King finally showed up. It was a week or two before we all worked remotely, but every day he was like, so you got to watch that Tiger King show. I'm telling you, watch the first 15 minutes. If you're not hooked after the first 15 minutes, then you can let it go. But the first 15 minutes will get you. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get around to it, but I still haven't. So
I'm telling you, Z, if you told me what this show was about and what was going to happen, then I'd be like, oh, that sounds stupid. But the minute you watch it and you're like, I cannot believe that just happened. It mesmerized you. I literally was told about Tiger King on a Tuesday, and I waited till Thursday. I watched the first episode, and I did not stop until I was done Friday afternoon watching all of them. And then I went and watched the reunion episode that came out a month or two later. It's crazy. It's like WWE soap opera, episodic. It was ridiculous. And the fact that I lived in Tampa and I've actually been to the one tiger reserve that's out there,
really?
It had a little bit of I recognize that location. I know where that is. But I'm telling you, man, you might be a redneck if you watch that show. It's the whole show. Everything is. It's so absurd. It's like watching real life like a video game. It's you just can't believe that actually happened, but it really actually happened. So it's some crazy stuff.
Oh,
if you're bored, that'll definitely take your mind off things for a good 10 hours.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It looks bad. That's the thing. At the end of the day, maybe once I watch it, I'm like, all right, yes, people were right. It's it gets you, but that's the barrier of entry there. I see it pop up, and I'm like, no.
Are you going to get smarter from watching it? Absolutely not. You may actually get dumber, but you will laugh the entire time you're watching it.
I might have to finally get around to it. I keep hearing about it. It won't go away. Tiger King.
No, it's not.
It's a phenomenon.
I don't think so. The hype is real, and I can't imagine they're not going to try to do more content, even though it'll be difficult based on what happened in real life. But we'll see.
Oh man,
it just hit at the right time. There were too many people sitting at home with nothing to do, and this happened to pop up.
Yeah, well, like you were saying before we started, you were talking about you and your daughter played some Animal Crossing. That's exactly what happened with that game too, man. Right time, I mean, those games are popular anyway. They're a big deal. They've come out, with a bunch of them.
Sure.
They do well, but it hit at the right time, and
it did.
Everybody seemingly
Maneater hits at the right time. Everyone's got time to kill, and it's an inexpensive game. But I'll tell you, Animal Crossing, like the only thing I enjoyed about Animal Crossing was being able to, after we made the island, I was able to put up a postcard in the ground that said Maneater on it, and a sign that had the logo, because I was able to Maneater actually put up free Switch graphics for the Animal Crossing game, which I thought was fun because we just bought Animal Crossing because my daughter wanted to try it, and now she's not really playing it much, and I've got the $60 game I just bought, so I feel like I got to try to play it.
Yeah.
But I'm not really enjoying myself. It's like it just feels like a part-time job, and I work hard enough on my normal job. I don't need to work anymore. So I don't get it. I understand there's an audience for it, and I don't begrudge anyone for enjoying it. I probably would have liked that game too, but right now it just doesn't spark joy with me. It's
not your thing, yeah.
No, Pokemon Go wasn't my thing either, and millions of people love that. It's just not my style of game.
Yeah. Hey, you don't. Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to like it because it's popular. It's just like
That's
Tiger
right.
King. I say it's crap. You love it.
You're probably right. No, you're right, but it's still funny to watch. I mean, that's kind of where it falls. So
I'm sure
we'll just leave it.
I'll see it at some point once I decide to rejoin society.
Yeah. You have to let me know what you thought. I'm curious to see what you think about it.
So Kabuki Kid says that she's waiting for The Last of Us 2 next month.
That's the big video game release next year. Yeah,
PS4,
that I'm
right?
actually my next big game. Well, there's two big games coming out that are going to get me through the rest of the summer. The Marvel Avengers game is coming out in September.
Okay.
Which it's got multiplayer co-op as well as single player story. So I'm super in buying it on Xbox. So any of you people out there that are getting that game on Xbox, I'm happy to play with you. Look me up. Megalodon 360 is my gamer tag. And then shortly after that, like 2 weeks after that comes out, we're getting Cyberpunk, which I obviously have a more interest in because Cyberpunk, we're doing the Cyberpunk card game. So we're gonna that video game looks amazing. And while I'm not a huge, like, I don't know a lot of knowledge about the Cyberpunk universe. I'm not as big. The game just looks gorgeous, and because we're doing a game project on it, I want to know about it. So that game will be my introduction into the world. So I'm really excited about learning about Cyberpunk more and then checking the game out, which looks like it's going to be amazing. So two big games coming up in September that'll help push me into the fall. So
is that coming out September, the Cyberpunk game?
I pre-ordered mine on Best Buy, and I think it said I'll get it September 7th or 4th. Or Avengers, one of them is coming out like the 5th or 7th, and the other one's coming out like the 14th. So I think Avengers comes out first, and then Cyberpunk's like mid-September. So busy month for me because I'm playing both of them, and I may have to plow through Avengers and then start Cyberpunk. Because Cyberpunk's supposed to be a big one. So
that's going to be epic,
It's not like Maneater. I can't beat it in like 5 days like I did with Maneater. Avengers is going to be like a 40, 50 hour plus story, and I think the Cyberpunk's like triple that. It's going to be one of those like Red Dead 2 kind of games where you play it for months and months before you blow through it all. So excited for those.
Yeah, I'm super psyched for the Cyberpunk, and that comes out right around my birthday. Then midway through September, that's right around my birthday. So I'm gonna get that.
You getting that on? Do you have a PS4 or do you have an Xbox? Or?
I have both.
Yeah, both me too.
And
Okay.
at home here we have a Switch also. So I'm excited for two. That Cyberpunk game. But before that, in July, they're coming out with a new Paper Mario on the Switch.
Never played the first one. Is it good? I've never played the
Oh,
Paper
there's a
Mario.
bunch. There's like, the first one came out on N64 back in the day. Still one of my favorite games ever. The original Paper Mario. And they've come out with a bunch. Like they came out with one for the GameCube, and like all the Nintendo platforms. But yeah, I really like those games. It's kind of, it's like Mario style game, but it's much more of an RPG style game where you level
Okay, I
up
can
and
dig
you
that.
have all that stuff. So yeah, this new one, I'm psyched. I'm all over it.
God, I still haven't beaten the Mario game that came out on Switch a couple years ago or last year. The big Mario release that came out on Switch.
Oh, Odyssey.
The Yeah, Odyssey. I haven't even finished that yet. I guess this is a good time for me to be going into my backlog, like board games and stuff. Go back to your backlog and catch up.
Yeah.
I should probably be doing that with all these video games I paid for and haven't finished yet, instead of buying all these new ones. But
Yeah, but that's how it goes. You
it's how it
go
goes.
on there, you go on Steam, and they're like, "Hey, look, we have 22 games for 15 pennies," and you're like, "All right."
You have no idea. I got an Oculus Rift and Quest last year, and I'm loaded up on VR games. I've been playing VR games a lot this summer. A lot. I love the VR stuff.
Everybody's asking when my birthday is. It is September 20th, Coraloo. September 20th. That's when it is.
Turning the big 3-0.
Good Lord, no, I'm nearing the big 4-0. Are you kidding me? Oh, man.
You don't
big
have the
3-0.
gray to be hitting 40. Now, here's some gray right
I got
here.
a little bit, but no,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
doesn't
know.
show on camera. You're
No.
lucky.
No, they're spread out still.
Good for you.
It's coming, man. They start cropping up.
Just be thankful you don't have any kids, man. That'll make it a gray just amplify 10 times. I look like I'm 60.
Oh. All right, let's see. All right, Kabuki Kid. Yeah, this is a good question to wrap up with, I think. Let's do
Okay.
that. Pete, quick top 5 board games.
Ooh, okay. I did this recently. Someone had done a list, and I kind of made my list with them, so it should still be fresh in my head. So, number 1, Star Wars Rebellion. That's easy.
Wow, okay.
Star Wars Rebellion. One of my favorite games. I have not played it with the expansion yet, which I hear actually makes the combat better.
That's what I heard.
But yeah, so I'm excited to check that out. But Star Wars Rebellion, easily number 1. Then I would say number 2 is going to be. I'm gonna go with Shadows over Camelot. I love Shadows over Camelot. It was one of the games that got me back into board gaming when that came back out in the early 2000s. That Pirates Cove, I picked up Pirates Cove, Shadows over Camelot.
Yeah. All those gorgeous games from Days of Wonder, right? I know.
Yes,
I
and
know.
they sucked me in, and I got excited, and that's what sparked my reinvigoration into the board game hobby.
Yep.
So Shadows over Camelot is a classic, and I just love it to death. So that's a game I play a lot. Number 3, I'm going to go with probably an old tried and true, although it's slipping. But Marvel Legendary. That was another big game that got me into the hobby. I love Marvel Legendary back in the day. I feel like there's just too much right now, and if the game stopped, I'd be completely happy with it because there's so much content for it. But Marvel Legendary has always been one of those games that I've had a passion for, being a Marvel fan, obviously. Number 4, I would say it's going to sound like the Homer pick, but Blood Rage. But considering that's a lot of people's number 1s, I don't feel bad about putting it on my list. I love Blood Rage. Regardless of that I work for the company, Blood Rage is just such a great game, and ease of play, great quality, easy to get people to play it with. So you never have to hunt for a group. If you say you're playing Blood Rage, you're usually telling people, sorry, we're full. And then to round off number 5, I'm going to go with my Grail game that I talked about earlier, Star Wars Queen's Gambit. That game took me 3 years of searching and hunting to get. And then once I finally got it, a good friend of mine in St. Pete, Florida, offered to paint it for me and did an amazing job. And my copy just looks awesome now. It's the pride and joy of my collection. Even though it's not the most expensive game in my collection, it is by far the one that if the basement caught on fire, that's one of the couple games I'm grabbing out the door. So
yeah, nice. Have you played the Outer Rim game that FFG came out
do.
with?
I love Outer Rim too.
Yeah.
Outer Rim would probably make my top 15. I like it a lot. It's different than Rebellion in a good way, and it's quicker. It may not be a quicker game because some games can run pretty long, but it generally, if you're playing a 2-3 player game of Outer Rim, it's a lot faster than the 2-player game of Rebellion.
Okay,
but I enjoy it. Different feel, but it's the same. It's a good take on Star Wars and games that would have just missed the top 5. Marvel Champions, love it. Marvel Crisis Protocol, love it. Marvel United will probably make my top 15 when it's all said and done. So yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty much a one-trick pony. If it's a good IP that I really like and the game is decent, it's going to be high on my list. There's a few outliers there, like Shadows over Camelot. It will always be in my top 5. It's just a game I'll never say no to playing.
Right.
I do like Arthurian Legend as well, but it's the game that just it reminds me of those early days of getting into the board game hobby again and how much fun it was. And that's a great game. Like when you're new to the modern board game era and you play a game like that where you've got traders and you got to work together, but you can't tell each other what you got.
Yeah.
It was such a unique experience coming from playing Scotland Yard and Sorry and Life and Risk and Monopoly and all that stuff to then getting into that. Oh my God. It was just amazing. So
I think the game for me like that has that feeling for me. It's a game that isn't necessarily my favorite, but I'm never gonna get rid of it, and it kind of does that for me. It reminds me of like those days of getting into a hobby. Lord of the Rings, the Reiner Knizia co-op game.
Oh yeah,
back in the day, right? I bought it at a Borders bookstore.
Oh wow.
I mean,
Borders.
like, a long time ago, and I just remember seeing it, they had a little section for some games, so they'd have, like, the typical stuff like Mancala, and they had the Lord of the Rings tarot decks and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, that
Chess
kind of stuff that
sets
the bookstores would have, and then this game, the Lord of the Rings co-op game, and it was just fascinating, man. It was, interesting. Like, you worked together and you could appeal to Gandalf and he would help you out with a one-time special ability and stuff. Yeah, it's just, it takes me back. I think that's what it is. And I like that the most about it, that it just takes me back.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, there's like I said, there's a couple games that really spark joy from the early days. But I will say one game you've got on your shelf behind you there that's slowly rising up the ladder is that Endeavor Age of Sail. Like, I'm not a big
that's
Euro-y
great.
guy, but you've got, it looks like you don't have them together, which is driving me nuts. But you got the Age of Expansion over there and the regular game over there. I haven't played with Age of Expansion yet, but I'm super excited because that came during the quarantine, so I'm excited to get that on the table. I don't know how it changes gameplay, but I love Endeavor. I mean, that's been a huge hit in our local game group.
It's
Everyone
great.
loves that game. So
yeah, I just reviewed it not too long ago. That's why they're still separate, but you don't really. It won't need to keep the box. Like, you can keep it if you want to. The coolest thing, it will fit, because the coolest thing is the Age of Expansion expansion replaces this entire thing.
Oh, nice.
They give you another one with all new buildings, but the original buildings are printed on the backs.
Oh, beautiful. So you can
get
play
rid
the
of this
version
one. I think this is already the replaced one.
Oh, nice.
Let me see.
That's awesome.
They'll be
I'm
one-sided.
excited.
If they're the old ones, they'll be one-sided. Let me see. Or they'll be not one-sided, but they have the same thing. So yeah, like workshop. These are the same. In the new one, you got workshop, the original building on the back, and some new building on the front. So they give you a whole new slate of new buildings.
That's super smart of them to do.
Yeah.
Because then, I mean, why not, right? I mean,
so it's a great move. I thought it was a stroke of genius. It's a great way to do it. That all new content doesn't take up any room, and then new decks of cards also that you need to keep obviously in there. But awesome. I really like it. I think it's a great expansion. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to playing that. That's probably going to be one of the first 3 or 4 games that I play once things get back to normal. That's because that's when it's better played with like a full complement of players, in my opinion.
Yeah. So. I agree. It's good stuff. It's so quick. I love that it's so quick. It moves along. I look forward to playing with you someday, Pete. But for now, buddy, let's wrap this thing up. One of these days, Pete, we can get together again. We're gonna play some. We're gonna play some Marvel United, man. We should do that.
We should definitely do that. Yeah, well, I guess maybe next year's Dice Tower Con or Gen Con, if things look up and things get back to where they should. I guess
That
that's
would
the
be good.
next time. I don't think 2020. I don't think anything's happened. So I think it's 2021. But it'll be fun times. I know. You take for granted what you have until you don't have it anymore.
Yeah,
I always used to complain. Oh, I gotta get ready for Gen Con, and I gotta be gone 8 days, and I'm gonna work my butt off, and then all of a sudden you realize you don't have to go, and you're like, yay! And then you're like, oh, a month later you're like, oh man, I haven't seen my friends in 6 months now. It's
I know.
Yeah.
I know it's weird. But yeah, we'll play some games, man. I'm claiming
Absolutely.
I want Blade. I'm claiming Blade.
Okay, you can have Blade. I'll take Black Panther. We'll just like my poster, be Blade and Black Panther coming to save the day. I'm all in.
We're in. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us, for chatting it up, for asking questions, just for basically hanging out. We appreciate you. Pete, thanks again, man, for saying yes to this and for hanging out with me.
That was my pleasure. And all you guys out there, be kind to each other and be safe. And I hope to see you guys all at a convention sometime real soon.
Here, man. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.